Welcome to episode 291 of the 2-Minute Warning. Today, me and Wade are going over our top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL that are under the age 25. But before we get into that topic, we have the question of the day. Today, this year, in the 2020 NFL season, there was one team to be a top 10 offense and top 10 defense and did not make the playoffs. Which team was it in the NFL this season? Find out at the end of the video. Wade, who is your number 5 quarterback under the age of 25?
So if this is all if we're taking them right now.
Yeah, no long-term future today. You need to win a game today. Who's your top 5 quarterbacks?
Number 5, I'm going to have to go Burrow. Just because I didn't get to see much from him this season. I think that this list would be completely different. He had played a full season. He could arguably be number 3.
Yeah, I mean, I love Joe Burrow. The potential's there, but focusing on today, number 5 is pretty reasonable. For me, number 5 is Kyler Murray. To me, his game took a big jump when he got DeAndre Hopkins on his team, just like Josh Allen's took a big jump when he got Stephon Diggs. Murray's got great potential. However, the running game, whenever he had a shoulder injury, I believe midway through the year or at the back half of the season, when he had that shoulder injury and couldn't really run out of the pocket because he didn't want to worsen the injury anymore and risk further pain or it could be very fatal. I do think when you take that run game away, Kyler Murray is not the pocket passing quarterback that is going to lead you to a Super Bowl. However, when he does have his run game, he definitely is a lethal quarterback that can put up points and hurt any defense. However, being kind of reliant on that run game, I'm going to have to put him at my number 5 spot.
I do like Kyler. The only thing that's holding him back from being farther up on my list, because he is number 4, is the fact that he had so much talent on his team this year and still missed the playoffs.
Yeah. Had an amazing start, I believe. Around
he did have an amazing start. I think we all thought for sure that the Cardinals would get a wild card. They ended up not. Like you mentioned, his game's really reliant on the run. And when he can do it, he's a very solid quarterback. But when he's not able to, say he gets injured down the line and can't move as good as he has been, then that's going to be a real problem for him. But overall, he had a great season. Would have liked to see him perform a little bit better and make the playoffs. But you can't expect that out of every quarterback.
Yeah, another thing of why I have him back at the bottom of the list is also his physicality, being only 5'10". Most quarterbacks in the league are at 6.
I thought he was like 5'7". He's tiny.
He's a small dude. I'm pretty sure he's 5'10", and they might bump that up a little bit. But most quarterbacks in the league are 6 foot plus. Most are actually 6'2" plus. You have your exceptions of Drew Brees and Russell Wilson, but Kyler Murray is at the very bottom of the brink in quarterback physicality, so that's definitely a knock to him as well. Number 4, I have Joe Burrow. Kind of the same reasoning as Wade. I could be higher on this list, but playing only half a season, having a lot of turnovers this season, I think he can still be a franchise quarterback and will be a franchise quarterback. But for right now, having the rookie mistakes and being that injury, we don't know how he will rebound back. I'm going to have him at number 4, but I could definitely see him bumping up to top 3 on this list very soon, depending how he is after the injury.
And number 3, I got Justin Herbert, another stellar rookie this year. His team didn't put up the stats that they would have liked. What they finished 7-9, I believe.
Yeah,
finished 7-9.
4-game win streak at the end of the season. Though.
Yeah, there were so many games though that were decided by the end of the game.
Yeah,
a few things go differently. He could be 10-6, arguably. Yeah. Very close call. I think that he really balled out this season. Broke several rookie records. I think he had a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio.
Yeah, I think he finished 34-11 or 34-10,
something like that. Had a great season, and I cannot wait to see what he does once he gets a good team around him.
Yeah, for sure. I got number 3 under 25. I have Lamar Jackson. Fun fact: Lamar Jackson actually 3rd year in the league. Joe Burrow's 1st year in the league, and Lamar Jackson's still younger than Joe Burrow. Kind of crazy right there. But Lamar Jackson, very similar reason I have him at number 3 and not in the top 2 as to Kyler Murray is the fact that his run game is so reliant, and when you take that away from him, his passing game is not there. Reason he is above Kyler Murray is because I do think his running game is much better than Kyler's. They are kind of very close calls, probably number 1 and number 2, but I think that number 1 to 2 or 2-to-1 difference is a big jump, and Lamar is the most lethal runner in the NFL when open field. Yeah, Derrick Henry could push a guy down, but when open field, you got to break it, get around a guy and juke a guy. Lamar Jackson, you're going to bet on him 100% of the time, and I do think the passing game can eventually develop. Kyler Murray, I do think has time to develop also, but also I'm going to have Lamar Jackson above Kyler Murray, like I said, because of physicality. He is actually a big dude, being 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", whatever he is, and having that thin frame, ready to just get around anyone. Kyler Murray, like I said, just short in the pocket, can't really see over his line. I don't like Kyler Murray. That's why he's at 5. And Lamar Jackson, he's great right now. We saw him get over the hump in the playoffs, and he could eventually be top 2. Right now, I'm not sure he'll get past the Buffalo Bills. Not to knock to him if he doesn't get it, but for him getting his big playoff win is great for him. He has a bright future for sure, but right now he's number 3.
Many of those reasons you just mentioned are why I have him at my number 2. I think he gets hated on so much, and I don't see the reason. I think last year, him losing the playoff is a big reason why he got so much hate this year. I think he's vastly underrated. I think we did this video earlier this year, several months ago, and I had him at 3 or 4, and I think that was during the time the Ravens were going through a rough period, lost several games. But I think that he really proved himself towards the back half of the season, and that game against the Titans really showed that he has the talent to win football games and big football games. That was a big question going into this, whether he could win in big-time spots, and I think that the past week really proved that he has the ability, and that I think that his passing, you mentioned it's not that good, that it still needs to develop. I think it does need to develop a little bit more. I still think that it is better than most people give him credit for.
Yeah, it's definitely knocked on a little more than it should be, but for sure it does need development in some ways. Number 2 for me, I got Justin Herbert. He's likely going to win Rookie of the Year. In my opinion, he deserves it. Justin Jefferson, close race, but I think it should go to Herbert. Like Wade said, 3-1 touchdown to interception ratio. And really, if it weren't for injuries, a bad coach, and a bad kicker on his team this year, Justin Herbert would have led his team to the playoffs. He's gone toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, and has put his team in a winning position pretty much every single game of the season except for that blowout against the Patriots, which is kind of unexpected. But against every single other good team, he's put his team in a position to win the game, whether it be a last catch from him on the offense and his receiver drops it, or the defense gives up a 4th and goal to lose the game, or his kicker misses a field goal and they don't go to overtime, etc., etc. This is a 7-9 team, like Wade said, that could easily be flipped. They've lost 6 games on those type of calls. If you just give them half, they're from 7-9 to 10-6, and they're a playoff team. I think Justin Herbert can go on to win Super Bowls and MVPs, but right now I understand he's a rookie, and therefore him only being a rookie, and we haven't seen much of him in the playoffs, I'm going to go with him at number 2, not number 1 yet.
I think number 1 is pretty unanimous. I think everybody can agree on this. He's done great this season. A MVP frontrunner, Josh Allen. He was vastly underrated in college. I think he only got 1 offer to Wyoming, but he has proved all those people wrong, has absolutely balled out this year, has a great connection with Stephon Diggs, and I think he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now.
Yeah, Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills are probably the hottest team in the NFL right now. To be honest, this list could change. Josh Allen could drop and Lamar Jackson could rise, or their places could stay depending how this matchup goes in the divisional round where they face off against each other. That's going to be a great game to see. Complete different playing styles, like me and Wade both said. Lamar Jackson in the run game, Josh Allen in his amazing passing game, MVP status. They're playing in Buffalo, but it's going to snow. That could affect the passing game and help the running game. A lot is on the line for these quarterbacks this year, or in this game, to see who's a better guy, who's a better team, and who will go on to the AFC Championship and possibly make a Super Bowl run. But for these same reasons Wade said, I got Josh Allen at number 1, being an MVP type of player. And really, if it weren't for him playing in the same era of arguably two of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time, and Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, I know that's a bold take now, but currently at this pace are on that track. If not top 5, top 10, top 15, he'd be an MVP if he wasn't playing at the exact same time. So guys, unfortunately for him, he'll probably lose it to them. But it is what it is. And he's number 1, at least amongst the youngest quarterbacks in the league for sure.
Yeah, and the answer to the question in the beginning, who had a top 10 offense and top 10 defense and missed the playoffs, it was the Chargers led by Justin Herbert. A lot of the losses were just at the very end of the game and could be going other ways. So
stupid mistakes.
It's unfortunate they missed it, but that's the answer.
Yeah, sounds good. That's the top 5. 2 minutes.